Hey guys, Dana Giacovello here from Bullies Keep Out, and today our guest is Mandi Edwards, the executive director of the organization Face Forward. Mandi, thank you for taking the time out of your day today to speak with me.
Absolutely, my pleasure, Dan. Thank you.
So we're gonna jump right into it because Face Forward LA is such an amazing 501c3 organization, and you do incredible things with domestic violence and human trafficking as well. And what I wanted to know, and I know a lot of people are curious as well because we actually get questions about it sometimes that Bullies Keep Out, is how did Face Forward come about and start, like from the very beginning? I know you guys have been around for a few years, correct?
This is our 10th year anniversary, going on year 11.
Wow.
Yeah, the organization started. Deborah and Dr. Leslie are the co-founders of the organization, and Dr. Leslie, before Face Forward ever started, is a very kind-hearted man. He's an amazing, world-renowned plastic surgeon, and he would occasionally patients that would come through his doors in need of help with reconstructive surgery after experiencing domestic abuse. He would, if they could not afford to handle their surgery to repair their broken noses or cheekbones or things like that, he would help them. Mm-hmm. And he just out of the kindness of his heart. It wasn't a everyday thing. It was just, as the need was there, he would, reach out and help. And when he and Deborah got married, Deborah was a domestic violence survivor herself.
Oh, wow.
And and she, at the time, she was working in the private aviation industry and she traveled a lot. So when they got married, of course, she didn't want to be traveling the world and not being with her husband. Mm-hmm. So she wanted to find something that she could do locally to stay active and working. And they decided, well, she's already doing these kind acts. Let's focus it. And she said, because Deborah's perspective was, well, if you're giving them this help with surgery, what's happening to them afterwards? Mm-hmm. Are they going back to the abusive situation? Are they, getting any other sort of help with legal things and things like that? So she said, let's, make this happen. And they started off with the focus of the organization just being domestic violence. And that was, the first few years, and they didn't know what they were doing. It was a brand new grassroots, effort of a nonprofit. So, maybe one or two patients in a year would be helped. Then as the organization grew and they did the first gala, after I think the second year, they decided to do a gala. Our first gala event had around 60 guests, which now we're to the point where we have close to 500 plus who've been to gala events.
Nice.
I know, Dana, you've been to gala.
Yes, I loved it, and I can't wait till this year.
It's an amazing event, and it's our biggest, awareness event for sure. But so they started it off, with just a small idea, and they both donate their time and services 100% to the organization, and they have for the past 10 years, which is kind of the most remarkable thing to me. When I joined their team just over 3 years ago, I sat down and I met the two of them, and I jokingly say it, but I 100% meant it when I told them, I was like, you had me at hello. I'm like, I met them, I learned what they were doing, I learned that they were doing this, as this amazing power couple who love and adore each other and have really huge hearts, and they want to give back and to help. Obviously he is a plastic surgeon, they live a good life. They wanted to be able to help others and to, show that, there's so much that can be done when you are willing to put in the effort to, help change lives. So it's been an amazing journey to be on with them, even for just, the last 3 years or so. We had a huge growth phase with the expansion of our mission as well to include human trafficking survivors. And then also we have the umbrella of cruel acts of crime, which allows us to bring in patients from who have been injured in other ways, and obviously no fault of their own, things, random, attacks. We've had, patients who got caught in the gang crossfire just from being drunk for a long time. We have children from Kenya who were beaten by their teachers. Things like that. So we've got that umbrella, still sticking to the core mission of what we're doing. Would be helping patients of violent crime, basically.
Wow, that's truly just, I mean, amazing, you know, and the work that, I've said it and I say it to everybody that I know, and we're honored to be partners in advocacy with Face Forward LA. But the work is it's a beautiful story that you just told, because some of that I wasn't aware of, and I was actually going to ask if there was any personal background. A lot of people, when they start organizations, that there is some type of personal experience that they're taking into it. And I wasn't aware of that, with Deborah. And that's just, I find that when we take those things that happen to us, it's also therapeutic in a way for us, and helps us as well, because they always say that it helps you heal to help others. And if you have the capacity to do so, why not?
Yeah. Deborah always says her response is that she said, "Face forward found me." That's what she always says in her, when she's discussing it. Yeah. And it was a very healing thing for her as well. You're correct. It is therapy. You share your story, and even if it's not, that's not the platform for, the basis of the organization. Her heart was to help others. She just happened to be a survivor and, shared a bit of her story along the way, but she doesn't make her story the focus of the organization. It shows that her heart really is truly behind helping patients, start lives anew. And to, they're an amazing physician, and Deborah's amazing at marketing and socially. She's a social butterfly. She's got she's this amazing personality, and she's Scottish too, so she's got that great accent. It's hard to tell her no when she comes up to you and says, "Okay, you do this in life. What are you going to do to help these patients? What are you going to do to help this charity? How can you get involved and help us make a difference?" She has no shame in asking, anyone that she meets how they can help support the cause and help us reach even more patients. And she's kind of an amazing role model in life, I'd have to say, too. She's taught me a lot in the past 3 years that I've worked with her, for sure.
Yeah, she sounds like, just wow. I mean, no words for it. And that's, I love connecting with those type of people, and it's inspiring. It really, truly is. And yes, even though, you don't make your story the focus, and it's just truly selfless, because it's like, even though it's helping you, but you really truly want to take your background and what and you just want to just find ways to just keep helping. And it seems that Face Forward does that. I always personally see new things and interesting things that you guys are doing, and great new partnerships being made and collaborations. And I'm the same way myself. Excuse me. And it's a beautiful thing when you can connect and find people that have the same mission and the same goal in life as you do. And
absolutely, I mean, that's how we organically connected with you in that capacity. It was just sort of through something like social media,
yeah,
and of course, the connection through, with Lana and the entire, Once Upon a Time, fandom out there too. I know it's just sort of how everybody sort of crossed paths electronically, so to speak,
right?
And see where we've come over. It's been a little over 2 years, I think, since we've started communicating then, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm an advocate personally for domestic violence, for my own personal reasons, and also, Bullies Keep Out does it. And I was looking for, we're always looking for collaborations and partnerships and people to work with and support and help in any way we can. And because domestic violence, it's, things have different names, but they're still forms of bullying. So I noticed, a while back, yeah, I would have to say it was about 2 years or a little over 2 years, because I remember seeing one of the galas, and we work with also an advocate and a friend, Emmanuel Vaugier, and I remember seeing her and Anna Silk at one of the galas as
That was
well.
3 years ago. Yeah, that was my first gala. Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I was like, and then I started researching it more, and then of course, Lana started talking about it, and then Adrian Holmes is also a friend and an advocate of Bullies Keep Out, and I saw that he attended one of your events not long ago in LA as well, and I was, I'm so happy that a lot of the people that I work with are also involved with, or that I know, or that support what I do. Are involved with Face Forward as well. And I'm like, oh look who's there, and as I'm seeing
No.
pictures and stuff, and I'm like, that's just awesome. And I wasn't even aware of it, for some of them that I've seen, out and about at events, and it's a great thing to see. I mean, but I work, I have to say that we work with beautiful people, and they're just amazing. So it doesn't surprise me.
Absolutely. When you find people with big giving hearts, it's not uncommon to see them cross paths and supporting great organizations. There's so many amazing nonprofits out there doing really great work, and in different avenues and for different groups. So it's like we do a lot of outreach to other nonprofits very intentionally because we want to connect.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we are all looking to help support survivors and to support, people in general in life. So, we make a lot of efforts to reach out and just go, hey, here's who we are, here's what we do, and if ever you work with, clients, patients, whatever the organization may be, if you need us, we're here. And the funny thing in doing that and connecting with other nonprofits, it's amazing how many times in the past 3 years I've heard, wow, we didn't know you existed. Wow, I wish I knew about you guys 6 months ago. I had a case that could have used your help. So, we know the importance of, being advocates not just to the general public, but to these nonprofit groups too who are servicing clients that may be, in need of our services.
Absolutely, and that's the great thing about it. It's like everybody coming together and reaching out to each other, and stronger together. And I always say that, everybody, yeah, everybody, puts a little piece of themselves in, and it just becomes one big collaboration, and everybody out for the same goal. And it's really just a beautiful thing, is I guess the word to say it. Um, and I know you talked a little bit about it, and you mentioned a little bit of it. That was actually the next question I was going to ask you, is how you got involved with Face Forward. So now, like, how did you find Face Forward? Like, were you referred, or did you just hear about the organization?
My life journey is a little funny. I am originally a Florida girl. And I've done the West Coast trek. I started in nonprofit back when I was in college. I worked for various organizations about 7 years of life, I guess. Mm-hmm. Just getting through college, after graduation, things like that. I got married, made the cross country move, went Florida to Vegas to LA. And when I got out of nonprofits, I ended up spending 10 years working in public accounting firms, which was, a good stable job and money and things like that, but it wasn't where my heart was.
Exactly.
And I spent 10 years doing that, and I'm like, I am not a numbers person. I am an accounting, or I'm not an accountant. I was a communications major in college, so I think just because you can do something doesn't mean you should be doing something in life, right?
Right.
So, but it was a period of life where I very much needed that stability work-wise. But when we made the final move from Vegas to LA, I just said I can't keep doing this line of work because it's not where my heart is. At the end of the day, my heart has always been in giving back and helping others. Mm. So I originally was still in Vegas when I first connected with Deborah, just responding to a job posting. And I learned about the organization, and I was like, wow, they're doing some amazing stuff, and this intrigues me. And I was like, well, let me see if I can get my foot back into the nonprofit world when I make this move. And so she and I had done a phone interview together, and she said, well, I need somebody now, and I wasn't moving for about another month. And she said, well, just stay in touch with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay. I said, I understand. Sometimes the universe doesn't align right. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually hired somebody on that just by whatever coincidence didn't work out. And I had moved. It was been a month and a week later. I get a phone call, and she's like, "Are you in LA?" And I said, "I am actually." And she's like, "Can you please come in and meet me for an interview?" And I said, "Absolutely." And I met them, and I was done. I was blown away. I was like, you have me for as long as you'll have me. And I mean, it's been just a remarkable journey. I started off, I was hired on as the associate director.
Mm-hmm.
They had a volunteer executive director at the time. Because again, the organization was very, in the grand scheme of nonprofits, still very young.
Yeah.
When you look at 7 years, well, the first 4 years of that are the formative years. That's just getting the foundation of what you're building.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of came in, and that was one of the big things, was sort of the internal structure, the things that, were missing because they just hadn't had somebody in doing certain elements of it. I would love to take full credit, but I absolutely cannot. Just life and, the way the universe aligns things. We had some really amazing things kind of come to the table that first year that I was with the organization. So from 2014 to 2015, we were actually able to double our fundraising and double our patient care numbers that year. And the numbers have only increased since then, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. And, through things like, one of the big things that happened about that the first year just after, was Lana doing her T-shirt campaign. So that raised, a good amount of funds.
Yeah, that was a great campaign.
Yeah. We had developed a relationship with eBay, and they did the Give It checkout, which generates a lot of funds for the things that happen where people, it's the little ways that people can give sometimes which make the biggest impact.
Yes.
For an organization like ours, where it's just like, I've got an opportunity to, give 10, 20, 50 bucks, whatever it is, and, know that they're doing something, to help, but it doesn't have to always be at those, $50, $100 million levels, though. we need more of those donors in life.
Yeah.
Those donors are what you keep us, growing in huge ways, and we're able to do a lot bigger things. But we're a small team. I mean, we're a team of 2.5, and Deborah donates her time. So it's, I always tell people we're a small organization doing really big things. And it's a labor of love. I mean, you have to look at, what Deborah's built as an organization in 10 years, and giving of her heart and soul, to make things happen. So when I came on board, the goal was, really to help kind of pull back a lot of elements for her. So she does get to go out and do just the out in the field, out in the networking, connecting with people, the things that she does so brilliantly, to bring people to the table. And then I handle all the business end of it. Make sure everything, everything else happens and everybody stays happy. But yeah, it's incredible to just see the growth. And then when I had first started, that was the first year the organization had any international cases come in. And we had 2 patients, one from Germany and one from Uganda, that year. Mm-hmm. And they had started treatment just before I started on, and then continued on from there. But it's been remarkable to watch the growth, and watch us grow into now an internationally recognized organization, bringing patients in from all over the world. So it's kind of an incredible journey for the organization, and I'm honored every day to be a part of the work that I do.
I can see that, and I don't blame you. It's absolutely awesome, and I've seen that growth myself since I found you guys, and I saw a lot of people talking about you, and then followed the account, checked out the site, was seeing all the articles and everything you do.
Helping with that awareness, Dana. You've been right there doing campaigns to help us raise awareness and funds. I mean, you've been amazing. I can't thank you enough.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Phenomenal. I mean, I love what you guys do, and like I said, it's also personal to me, but we also advocate for it. I think it's an amazing organization, and I love seeing all the faces that are involved in it. And what I also like about it too is because I can relate with Bullies Keep Out and it being small, because it's like small, but you're doing big things, because like I don't have like a gigantic team and like all this giant stuff, but even though we're still in young stages because we haven't been around for 10 years. But I'm very
Right.
proud of what I've done in the few years that we have, and it just keeps growing and more. And, you guys have inspired me and shown Blaze Keep Out a lot of support as well. And, when we decided to become partners in advocacy and patient services, that was a huge honor for me. And I was just, floored by even mentioning it. And I was thrilled to be a
Aw.
part of Face Forward in any way I can and help, and I always will be. I mean, unfortunately, last year at the gala, because of my schedule and the time was crunched and I had to fly back to New York, I unfortunately did not get to meet you or Deborah, and I was completely bummed. I
No.
mean, I was like, oh, I was going to interview Deborah, and then I don't know what happened, and then we had other people in front of us, and I was like, okay, well, you know what? Next year I have to plan my schedule a little bit better, because I was
Well,
leaving like really
September
early in the morning.
22nd.
Yeah, I was like, I'm
September
leaving.
22nd, the Beverly Hills shows.
Yeah. Um, then that's the next good thing I wanted to actually talk about. I'm not sure how much you could say or what you could tease, but I know that you mentioned that the next gala, which I cannot wait for, and I will be there for the entire thing this time and covering it.
Yay!
And I'm totally excited and thrilled for it. It's September 22nd. Can you say
Yes.
anything like a little bit about it? I mean, I know you haven't posted much about it as of yet. It was just that little kind of tease of the date and where it was going to be.
Yeah, we've just done the save the date and the beginning of promotion. Trust me, when we wrap up our prior year gala, we are already starting preparations for the new one. So we secured locations or dates. Beverly Wilshire Historic Pretty Woman Hotel in Beverly Hills. It's iconic. Um, it's a brilliant location. Moved it back to Beverly Hills area where we've kind of moved it around different parts of LA over the past several years. Um, we have not announced any headliners yet. We do have our theme of La Dolce Vita,
I love
which
it.
is it's going to be it's going to be very very cool, very Italian, very. This is the great thing that Deborah is brilliant at. When Deborah knows how to throw a party. And
Yeah,
she
I
knows
saw
how
that.
to. She has an eye. She has an eye for the decor, for the pizzazz elements. It's an event because what we deal with as an organization is very dark and very heavy.
Right.
And I can tell you that the stories I hear and see on a daily basis are they can break you down if you allow them to. It's very harsh.
Yes.
So when we throw events, we are trying to celebrate life, celebrate our survivors, celebrate the journey, and how we are empowering them to do great things with their lives. Because at the end of the day, we're not just providing surgeries. Just go, here you go, boom, done, whatever. No, we are connecting with each of our survivors in a level where they are doing something great with their lives. If they come to us and they're like, I want to go to college, I want to do that, we're going to find whatever means that we can to help support their next steps in life too. So to bring together, a night where we are recognizing these survivors. We typically have, several of our patients in attendance. Based, a lot of elements, whether they're in town for surgeries or they're local cases, things like that. But giving them the opportunity to get glammed up with everyone else, feel beautiful and amazing, and to share their stories, with other people mingling in the night, and it's really kind of an awesome event in that capacity where you've got everyone from all walks of life coming together, from the celebrity red carpet that we bring in, to our, headlining performers,
Mm-hmm.
to, local business folks, to our patients, to, anybody off the street that's like, you know what, this is a great cause. I want to come support in some way, and they grab a ticket to, come and join us. It's a very diverse audience. But all at the end of the day coming together with big hearts to try to help these survivors move forward in their lives and to, receive the surgical services that they so desperately need. Without giving too much away, because we always have the element of surprise, but it is an event and a party from the moment guests step out of their cars to the moment they leave. There's always something going on.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people ask me about tickets, and I'm like, I'm sure it's coming. Just, a lot of people like, do they go on sale?
Tickets are on sale. We've got the site up. We have a special devoted website to it as well, and ticketing site. The ticketing currently, right now, we're still locked in at last year's prices. But that most likely will change once the headlining performer is announced and we get all those elements secured.
Mm-hmm.
I can't share a whole lot of anything else.
Right.
Yes.
I understand.
Totally, not everything is secured, but it's also a little far in advance. Once we get approvals to start kind of sharing little bits and details, then we will. But we've got some exciting things in the works. Some really incredible, asks out there right now. We have some great other things happening. It can happen throughout the year as well, with different giving campaigns and things like that. Right now, we've got Omaze is working with Def Leppard. Def Leppard is doing this amazing campaign to support Face Forward.
I saw that.
A concert experience with them. They just great hearts. They were like, we want to help an organization helping whatever. We were on the, been working to bring something together with Omaze for years, and one of our board members actually has a personal connection with the team from Def Leppard as well. So she's been kind of pitching us them in the background. So it all just kind of organically came together, and now they're doing this amazing campaign to raise, a lot of money to help our survivors. So we couldn't be more appreciative in that aspect either. But yeah, a lot of things in the works. It's going to be September. It's coming up way too fast for my liking.
I know, right? It's going so fast.
I was just at the hotel for walkthroughs yesterday. I was out talking with performers and things that are like talent that we use throughout the evening for different elements. And yeah, there's some great fun stuff that's going to be happening. I know last year you were there, Jenny. You got to see at least the outside cocktail hour with the Arabian Nights theme and the dancers.
Oh,
and the
wow.
music
It was awesome.
The charmers and the camels and the stuff. I mean, it was, it's a lot. But it's, when they say it's the best charity gala in LA, well, yeah, you can believe it. We had a guest come last year, and he said, the second best gala I've ever been to. And I looked at him and I said, well, what was the first best? And he said, the Grammys. Get out of here. I will take it.
You gotta take that one. You can't really say anything when you're second to the Grammys. That's like, saying you're second to the Oscars, like.
Exactly. I was like, okay. I said, I will take that compliment for it. Thank you so much.
It really was, I was totally bummed that I could not stay for the whole thing because, like I said, my flight was like, I had to get up at like 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So I was totally bummed. But even just the couple of hours, I mean, I was just floored. I was like, this is just, it's amazing. It's beautiful. And you can see the enthusiasm and people enjoying themselves because I agree. And I have the same sentiment when I do things because we're actually working on, a BKO event in the near future as well. And I always say that, with you said, like, dark topics and subjects, you have to bring some type of light into that room.
Absolutely.
You can't just sit there and everybody's upset and crying and you hear these stories. Yes, we want to tell the stories. Yes, you want to raise awareness and speak about it, but at the same time you want to make people laugh. You want them to enjoy themselves and, like you said, celebrate life. And I think that's really, it's almost like meditation. It's therapeutic, like we mentioned before, that you have to, as a survivor, you have to see, the survivor of anything traumatic, you have to see the goodness in your life and the light and not focus too much on the dark. And you definitely You definitely achieved that. I mean, I got that feeling just from being there for the couple of hours that I was in the red carpet, and I I I was just like I said, I didn't even really have words. I was like, this is just like awesome.
Yeah, that's a great word for it. We'll take awesome. That's fun.
I don't know how they did amazing, awesome, beautiful, incredible, like you keep saying I feel like we keep saying the same words over and over, but it's what else can you say when those are the words that, are the right words. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to it, and I love that it's an Italian theme, right up my alley. Perfect time for me to actually be attending it, the whole thing this time.
Beautiful. I love it.
um, real quick, and going back, you were talking about, patients that come to you. Now, I just wanted to, like, you have also people that bring you patients, and you also reach out to patients as well, right?
Correct.
So, like, they come from, like, just worldwide, all over, and people can also, and, that's a good thing that I was going to ask you as well, and I know that you do, but just to give the audience a little bit more of a background, is you do provide more that, like, than just surgery, because I know sometimes people might think, oh, okay, they do this, and then what happens after, but you do offer support
Right.
services and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. You see, here's the great thing, and this is the piece that I guess again some people may miss because they just see free reconstructive surgery and emotional support. What that entails, our doctors we have an amazing team of surgeons and that we work with. They're donating their time and services. What Face Forward is doing as an organization is not we are providing a full service care package to our patients. Mm-hmm. We are providing their airfare, their accommodations, the transportation, the nursing aftercare, their medication. With some of our international patients, they come to us with absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. They have no means of support, so we're having to find ways to provide them food and clothes and things like that, which we do a lot of connecting with our nonprofit partners to kind of bring some of those elements in too. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we're fundraising to cover all of these costs. Those are doctors donate their time and services. We still have to pay for surgery center fees. We still have to pay anesthesiologists. We have to pay for medical equipment or appliances and things that may be needed. So there are a lot of things that go into it that just people aren't really aware of. So every time we have a patient visit us, it could cost us anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000, depending upon each case. Mm-hmm. And that's just out of pocket for the organization, on top of the donated services. So there's a lot of things that go along with it. Partnering with other organizations, it helps us in the kind of the screening process. Mm-hmm. With cases, because we have patients reach out to us directly. We have patients, who have advocates who reach out on their behalf, trying to help find them services. Mm-hmm. And then we have our partner organizations that come to us and say, "Oh, we've got this case that we're working with. Is this one that you can take on and help with surgery?" Right. And of course, we don't want to, ever tell anybody no. So as long as they fall under the mission, they're meeting the criteria, the guidelines, and all those sorts of things along the way, then we will take on every case that we can. Sometimes they take a little longer. Mm-hmm. It may take several months to. Mm-hmm. We've had international cases. It's taken. I've got one I've still been working on for over 2 years because of the logistics of getting this person from another country.
Yeah, kind of like the red tape aspect of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's challenging. I mean, but sometimes the process can be expedited and sometimes it can't. So we take each case one at a time. We are, the past 2 years, we've increased, we bring in 15 to 20 cases over the past 2 years. I think it's 15 cases, new patients in 2016. I was like, what year am I in? And then 20 cases in 2017. Mm-hmm. And for 2018, we're already I was just looking at my scheduling and all the patients I have lined up right now. By July, we'll have already hit 15 cases, which is, incredible for us as an organization. And the diversity of the cases is what's even sort of more amazing, where because we've done so much more awareness and outreach to these other nonprofit groups, we are bringing in diverse backgrounds. We have a lot of, our standard, domestic violence cases. We have a lot of those, domestically. Most of our cases come to us domestically. But we've had a surge in the international cases, because we kind of become a go-to for acid attack survivors, because
Right.
it's been on the rise.
Yes.
We have reached out now to, we're working with, two different organizations, for the children who are victims of war bombing. So it's, these are things that they've come to the table to us, and we're like, yes, how can we help? And it was actually through the gala last year that we became connected with this one specific group to bring these children from Syria. They came to our event, and they said, how did we not know about you? And we said, we don't know. How did we not know about you and the amazing work you're doing?
Yeah.
We're actually bringing in our first transgender patient this year, who is a trafficking survivor. There's, the diversity of our cases is just, it's mind-boggling to me, but it keeps me personally motivated. It keeps us, our board and our committees and all of it, everyone personally motivated, because we are all touched in life in some way by some form of violence.
Yes.
And and it's not a topic that people love sitting around talking about. It's very dark. It's very ugly.
Mm-hmm.
The world can be a very cruel and ugly place and very unfair. But at the end of the day, if we can be, like you say, that light in some way, in some capacity, and we can help change. I always say, I'm like changing lives one survivor at a time. If we can do it, whatever we can offer, whatever support we can lend, and people reach out to me all the time that may not even fall under the umbrella of the work that we do. Right. And they're just reaching out because they've had injuries, they need help with surgery, whatever. Never is there a patient that reaches out where the response is, "Oh, sorry, we can't help you."
Of course.
I'll take the extra 10, 15, 20 minutes out of life if I've got to just do a little research to find them possible resources that can help. Because, we don't ever want to be needed as an organization. It's horrible that we have to exist in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
But it is an honor and a blessing to be able to do the work that we do every day. And for those that we can't serve under the mission of what we do, I at least want to, I know sometimes people just don't know how to do research. They don't know, they're reaching out because they're grasping at straws to see if they can get any sort of help.
Yeah.
So, like I say, I'll turn around and say, you know what, we can't do this, but here's 3 or 4 other organizations that I found who might be able to help you. So reach out to them, and hopefully that'll take you down a bright path to get the help that you need. So, yeah, it's challenging work, but it is so rewarding at the end of the day. And, I look forward to the continued growth, and diversity of our patients, and just, the number of lives that we can help change, and bringing the awareness to the rest of the world to show people that the little things can make the biggest of differences. I don't know what else to say.
No, I mean, astounding. I mean, I feel like I'm listening to myself talk when I'm talking to you, because, like, you sound just like me when I have gotten interviewed and I'm talking about giving back and helping people and all the different, forms of, bullying and domestic violence. And, a lot of the times I like to stress, when I do talk about domestic violence and the capacity that you're doing as well, is that it's so much more than just the physicality of it. There's emotional, there's verbal, there's psychological, it's mental. There's so much more, to it than just what you see on the outside, or scars on the outside, because, the inside scars cut just as deep and it's just as difficult. And, and I think that there's sometimes that notion of that when people hear domestic violence, they just think of, of course, like, cuts and bruises and, like I said, the physicality of it, and they don't realize, sometimes the whole picture that's behind it. And it's great that even though, you know, like you said, there might be people that don't fall under your guidelines, but you find other places that, can help them and that do that aspect of it. And like I said, this is where it comes in, everybody connecting and working together and helping everybody as a whole.
Mm.
And
Yep. Together stronger.
yeah, it's something I always stress. It's the best way to do it because no one, person is has powers that strong to everybody's got to
Right.
put their
Nobody can do it alone.
yeah. I mean, as much
It
as we
takes a
like to
village,
try,
literally.
as much as we like to try, to save the world, because I'm always that type of person where, okay, I'm putting on my cape today.
I'm right there with you.
I'm
I
gonna
am
save the
guilty of it.
world. And my friend's like, you do have to take care of yourself while you're trying to save the world and reach out to other people. And I'm like, okay, no, but I'm gonna do this and that, and it's very hard to not want to, but when you learn to, like, make the connections and reach out in different causes and organizations and even in businesses and just people that have a huge heart for philanthropy and being a humanitarian and giving and all that stuff. It's just such a nice thing to see. And when everything comes together, when the universe brings everything together the way it's supposed to, it makes it that much more. It makes you that much more proud to be doing what you're doing. Because I mean, from when I was younger, I've been like that, much like yourself. I mean, my heart has always been a big portion of, even though I work in the medical field, a big portion of who I am has always been about giving back and charity and causes and helping others. And my degree is in psychology, so my friends, everybody always used to come to me and they were like, you should do mentoring and coaching. And I
No,
mean,
it's great.
yeah, so I mean, it's part of what we do that at, of course, at BKO. And like you said, it's the little things, and I say that all the time. Small waves count just as much as the big waves, because you need smaller waves to make those big waves. It's not just big waves. I mean,
Absolutely.
those ripples keep growing and growing. And I sometimes even feel that the little things, like you said earlier, sometimes are just as important or amazing as the big things, even though you still do need the big things to keep what you're doing running and growing. It's not to be discounted. And I know a lot of people sometimes feel that, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, this is not enough. And I've even done that with myself. I'm like, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. And my friends, people are like, and team members and people I work with, and they're like, you need to calm down. you know, it's like Dana the superhero, Mandy, we have those mentalities, obviously, and I can tell you do. And Deborah, you just really just want to keep going and going and going. And but we do have to remember, that it's never a team of one. And
Absolutely.
it's important to keep that in mind. So, I love our conversation. I feel that it's going to give people a lot more insight into Face Forward, which I wanted to do. And, I get a lot of people that come to me with a lot of different questions and stuff like that. And of course, I refer them to you or the site. But I also think it's important that they get to hear it, and maybe things that they're not seeing online or that they're not reading, or like you said, when sometimes people don't like to do research, that they get a full effect of what Face Forward is about and everything that you do. So you know I think that we've hit that today.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm sorry I rambled on and just, I told you before we got on the call initially, it's like, I can talk about Facebook all day and all night. Just say, definitely a passion in life, and, to be able to share it and about the work that we do in any sort of platform, I am happy to do and honored and appreciate you giving us the opportunity to, kind of get it out there and to share with it, an audience who knows us a little bit, but maybe doesn't know us, quite as much as we hope that they do.
Absolutely, yes.
And
Yes, and we're the audience grows more and more each day. And so there's all types of new people that are going to find out about things. And that's the ultimate goal. And amazing things have come from it. I mean, when when I personally have talked about it or referred or done an interview or a podcast, and people hear it, and amazing things have come from these things. So, like I said, nothing is ever too small, and you know, it all counts, and that's the great thing. I wanted to share really quick all your social media sites. So you can be found on Twitter at FaceForwardLA. You also have
Mm-hmm.
your site, faceforwardla.org. Am I correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And then on Instagram, FaceForwardLA
At
as well.
Spaceport LA. Yep. At Spaceport LA on everything, I think. Yep.
Yeah, and then you
Twitter,
have,
Instagram, Facebook.
right,
Yep.
you have a Facebook page too as well. So that's FaceForwardLA,
Yes.
obviously. Okay, great. So you can find them all over social media, guys.
Yay.
um,
Follow us. Love us.
follow, donate, do everything you can. I can, they're obviously just in listening to the conversation. I don't see anybody who wouldn't see that this is just an incredible organization, and I personally will always vouch for you guys. You have a full time, forever partner in myself and BKO and
Mom.
friend in me. So
Well, you've got that in return, my dear. I think it's, you're doing amazing work, and your advocacy. I personally go. I don't know how she has time to do all of the social media that you do. It's one of my many hats in life, and I get some support every now and again through board members or interns and things like that. But for the most part, I'm the one behind, getting a lot of that out there, and in the midst of everything else, it's challenging. So good on you for keeping up with it. So.
yeah,
Make me look bad in that department.
no, absolutely no problem. It definitely is challenging. I wear many hats, and I have, it's like a woman of many trades. And you know what? Women are amazing, and it's just it's great when powerful women all connect, and it it's just ongoing growing. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, gals club, women's club, like whatever you want. Yeah.
Our tribe.
Yes,
Our
tribe.
tribe is
It's so
strong.
funny. That's what I normally call it, and I just, I couldn't think of the word I wanted to use, and I always say my tribe, and you put the words in my mouth for me, so there you go.
There you go.
Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Mandy, thank you again so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Be kind and love big, guys. Join us next time. Don't forget to like us on iTunes, subscribe, give us a rating, all that good and fun stuff.